an addition, and Mr. Johnson will discuss that. It's to approve the warning for the 1 August vote.
Yay.
Mr. Johnson.
Working?
This one works.
Point of point.
You're just adding it right now.
Can you hear me now? Okay, so we need to approve the warning for the August 1st vote for mayor. I'll read the warning, and the council can approve or disapprove, and then we'll all sign it. So, the legal voters of the city of Newport, Vermont are hereby notified and warned to meet at the municipal building in the city of Newport on Tuesday, August 1st, 2023, between the hours of 8 a.m. in the forenoon, at which time the polls are open, and 7 p.m. in the afternoon, at which time the polls will close, to vote by Australian ballot upon the following article. Shall the voters elect one of the following individuals as mayor of the city of Newport, Vermont, to fill a vacancy in said office for the remaining approximately 19 months of a 2-year term till the annual meeting of the city of Newport in March of 2025. So the names on the ballot will be Carl P. King, Roderick J. Owens, and Linda Joy Sullivan. The legal voters of the city of Newport are further notified that voter qualification, registration, and absentee voting related to said vote shall be provided by Title 17, Chapters 43, 51, and 55, Vermont statutes annotated. And if the council approves, it be adopted and approved at a meeting of said council of the city of Newport, Vermont, duly called, notice, and held on the 26th of June, 2023. So we just need a motion to accept.
Motion's already there. Need a second?
Motion to accept.
Okay, we need a motion to accept the warning for the vote.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Charbonneau. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
All right. We have a second. The motion is to approve the warning. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Chris?
It's okay.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Everybody needs to sign that. Yeah.
Maybe Chris can come in
Come in
sometime.
tomorrow.
Chris, if you can come in sometime tomorrow and sign. And maybe a
I'm
couple
not
of,
back until Friday. I'm in Killington until then.
okay.
Okay. So, John, you can come in on Friday, but only need 3 of them.
Yeah. Three out of the four. That's for you, Jim.
Okay.
All right, the next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of 5 June 2023. And you have those in your packet.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the minutes of 5 June 2023. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of 5 June 2023. All those in favor say aye.
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 The ayes have it. There are no nays. I can go ahead and sign those. All right, the next item on the agenda is to consider interim city manager letter of intent offering employment. Executive sessions anticipated, so I need a motion to go into, there are two motions for this one, so I entertain the first motion.
Make that motion.
Oh, you gotta read it, so they know what it is.
I move that the council find that premature general public knowledge regarding the city's letter of intent for the employment of an interim city manager would clearly place the city at a substantial disadvantage. Because the council risks disclosing its negotiation strategy if it discusses the proposed contract terms in public.
I have a motion to, first motion to go into executive session. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the three ayes, no, so we'll go ahead and read the second motion. And then, once we go into executive session, you all can stay at your desk. I think we're going upstairs. Oh, go ahead, go to the second.
I move that the council enter executive session to discuss the city's proposed letter of intent for the employment of an interim city manager pursuant to Title I, Section 313, subsection A1A.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a second, motion and a second for the second reading to go into executive session. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it. We are going to go upstairs into executive session. It's We're back. Is this on? Yep.
Yes.
All right. Now I would like to announce that no action was taken during that executive session. But we will go on to item number 5, to consider the appointment of an interim city manager.
I move that the council enter into executive session to consider the appointment of an interim city manager pursuant to Title I VSA Section 313, subsection A3, and to invite Karen Garrity into this executive session.
All right, I have a motion. Do I hear a second to go into executive session?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to go into an executive session with Karen Garrity. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. There are no votes. So we are going to go back into executive session. We'll be back.
Everybody done? Hold on, I gotta do. Okay.
Make sure it's done properly. Okay, we've, obviously, you know, we've come out of an executive session, and now we need a motion to appoint the interim city manager, Chris Fashaw. You want to read the motion?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I move that the council appoint Karen Garrity to the interim city manager and approve the offer of employment through the letter of intent drafted by the city's legal counsel, which sets forth the terms and conditions.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion, second by Mr. Charbonneau. All those in favor of appointing Karen Garrity as the interim city manager, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it. So we have done that part. I'd like to introduce Karen Garrity. She wants to say a few words.
So thank you very much. I appreciate the appointment from the council and look forward to working with all of you in the community in this capacity, in the interim capacity of city manager. And I thought I would just give you a little sense of my approach and my interest in this. My approach is essentially pretty straightforward. It's a policy, process, procedure approach because as we know, we have our elected representatives here who set our policy in the community. We work for the public good and we provide services to the public. So it will be my role as the interim city manager and as any city manager position is to work with the council to supply them with information, research, whatever they need to come to the best decisions possible for the community. I would just ask any of the staff from the city, particularly the department heads, but really all staff who are here tonight to just stand. And maybe if you wouldn't mind coming up and standing behind the council, I'd appreciate that, if you wouldn't mind. Thank you for doing this. So I've been asked a number of times, quite a few, more than I expected, as to why I would take this position on. We certainly are in a period of transition in our community, and that happens when, you know, we have long-term positions that are held or positions that are held by individuals for a long period of time. Any transition brings its changes and its uncertainties. And the role of the city manager, and in this case, in my case right now, it says interim city manager, is to really work with both, as I said, the council who set our policy, but also then the employees, the department heads, who are responsible really to execute the services for the public good in our communities. So these are the men and women and many staff members who work as well within their departments who provide the services to our community. And sometimes, you know, it always amazes me how so much that happens at this level is invisible to the public eye. I mean, think about the times you drive by Gardner Park. You don't necessarily see all the groundwork that's being done out there or at the beach. It's just always the way it is. But there are people up early and out working hard to keep the community looking good and functioning. We have our officers. I like to look at as well as what's happening in the community and what is not happening in the community. And what is not happening in our community is as much a testament to the hard work of our staff, like our officers, who are out there serving the public good, preventing things from happening in our community that are of detriment to our health and safety. And quite often these things happen in the middle of the night when we're quite often all tucked safely in our beds. We have people in our communities who get out of their beds when there's a fire or a danger to us, and they leave their families, they leave their homes, and they rush to come and help us. That's this group right here and all the staff that they manage. We have people in our public works department who get up in the worst kind of weather, in some of the darkest hours of the night, to come out and help, to plow our roads, to repair our infrastructure, to keep things moving. And again, this happens seamlessly. When they're doing it, it's not happening seamlessly for them, but this all happens in our city as part of a well-functioning municipality. And I personally, living here and having lived here and been born here, think that it happens really quite well. And we don't always get everything 100%, but I think we do a pretty darn good job for everybody who's doing this. So as a city manager, in the interim position, it's my responsibility to work with the council, to assist them in their roles as putting policy forward. It's my role to work with the staff in the municipality, to support them in any way I can, for resources, information, whatever I can do. I pledge my support and my work on their behalf. And in that way, I'm kind of that fulcrum in the middle of the teeter-totter that tries to keep that balance between what's at the policy level and what's at the execution level, and then to keep the public informed as to what's happening in our municipality. So that's essentially how I see my role playing out in this community. I can promise you, if there's a time that I have to say yes or have to say no, I will have as good a reason to say yes and as good a reason to say no, and will be able to explain why for whatever that is. I would just maybe like to finish by saying, again, people say, why would you do this? I believe fundamentally in our ability as a community to run our own affairs. We sometimes have differences, we have squabbles, but I believe fundamentally in the process that we have as Americans. We've agreed to certain principles that we abide by in a community. This is our social contract, and we need to hold our elected officials accountable to this contract. The transparency comes through not by the person. Transparency in government is never the person that's being transparent. It's the process that you hold people accountable to. And if they're following the process and moving things forward, you still may disagree with the end, but we've agreed to the process. So, I will hope, having gone through our current situation that we're looking to elect a new mayor, I just want to say that I don't know Beth personally, our former mayor, as a friend, but I do know that I've been in many community development meetings. When she came in, she always came in with ideas and passion, and I think that's what she was trying to bring to the position. I think, everybody makes rookie mistakes or maybe missteps, and perhaps needed more support around some of the process pieces that every single elected official has to abide by. And, there always is that disillusionment piece when you come in with such great enthusiasm on a platform. You then suddenly realize it's not just what you're bringing to the table. It has to be run through the power of the council, because the power of the council is as a whole, not as an individual. So I report not to the individual council members, but to the council as a whole. They are my bosses, the council. When that gavel is struck and they convene, they have the full power of their elected officialdom. As individuals, they don't have that same power. So it's important as we move into a new election that people understand there's a whole lot that goes on in terms of statute and in terms of regulations that elected officials are expected to know and understand. And it's my hope that I can support, in whatever possible way, to support the next election cycle with that information, and also to help provide to the community what that process is about. I thank Beth personally for stepping up and doing all the necessary work and the hard work to become elected. And I think as a community, would she have been a good mayor? I don't know. Would she have been a great mayor? We may never know. But I think it's a shame we don't get a chance to find out. We want people with passion and energy and commitment in our communities to step forward. We don't want to push people away. And in the role that I plan to take on, I will be there at least to push as much information out as possible to help the next cycle. But I have to point out that former Mayor Beth Barnes has been at every meeting since she resigned. She is not hiding away somewhere. She's continuing to contribute and to help the community and all of us learn maybe where things went wrong. So it's not a political statement, it's just a statement of a concerned community member on my But what I will say as city manager is you have my promise, and you can hold me to it, that I will follow policy, procedure, and process. And that's how I will expect you as a community and certainly as a council to evaluate my work and my competency. That's what I can offer you tonight. So I thank you again for the appointment. I look forward to working with all of these incredible individuals that we have here in our city. And again, I point out, we have people on our council, we have combat veterans, we have former state troopers, we have business people, we have historians of the city. We have people who are doing this as volunteers. Volunteers. They're coming in as volunteers to do this work and sit before you as the council to better our community, to work for our common good. They are us sitting here. And it's, I think, always important for us, no matter what frustrations we have, to remember that. This is a remarkable system of government we have, and we don't want to lose what's precious to us by doing this. So I look forward to working with all of these individuals and hope that I can provide them with the support and information they need. And that's what I got for you tonight. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right, this is looking for good things from the city manager. Yes.
Mr. President, point of clarification. If you did this tonight, what did you do a couple of months ago with Kim? Didn't you already do this?
No.
That there was, you'd be hired as a consultant, or what was done a couple of months ago?
I was under a contract. She's no longer contracted with the city. She's an interim city manager.
When did the contract end?
We never signed one. It was just proposed that we didn't go that route.
Okay.
All right, now we'll move on to number 7. Normally this is first thing going. It only took an hour and a half to get here. Comments by members of the public. First one signed up was Ann Cirillo.
Yes, I just wanted to remind council that there was a May 15th meeting, and there were minutes of it, and at the last meeting, you did not vote on those minutes because they were going to be amended, and Mr. President, you suggested new language to be put in, and usually when you do that, you put it down at the next meeting, which would be this meeting, that you are going to approve the amended minutes of May 15th. So I'm wondering, it's not on the agenda, and I'm wondering what happened with it.
Mr. Johnson?
That's my fault. I did correct the minutes. I forgot to have Becky put it on the agenda. So they need to vote on the amended minutes tonight.
Will that be on the next, at the next meeting?
No, he's got them right here.
No. Give him back to you.
Yeah. Give back to me.
You have them.
You're right. You're right, Ann. They never did vote on it. Excuse me. So now they can, now they can vote on it. He's got the amended minutes.
Can you just read them, because we didn't get a copy
Yeah,
of
well,
that, the amendment?
Yes, what they changed
Oh, here.
was, the requested change was changed to, no, this is 5G. We want 15 May. Well,
No wonder you can't find them.
so I didn't see the name on it. The comments on the public were changed to Mrs. Burling commented on what she alleges is Mr. Wilson's lack of education about water and sewer. There was no word in there about my being verbally assaulted, but the fact is that
Well, thank you for amending
but I would
it.
like to say one thing. Digress, when I went into service and put down years of education, I put 11. And after I come back from Vietnam, they're gonna sit there and say, wow, we gotta send you to get your GED. I said, what is that? It's a high school. I graduated from high school. It only takes Canadians 11 years instead of 12. But it has been approved.
Thank you.
Okay. Next one is Heidi Eichenberger, and I can't read your
Yeah, I
writing on
can't
what you
read my
want to
writing.
address.
First of all, like Karen said, I do appreciate the fact that council, you're all part of, you're basically volunteers. And when it comes down to the election for the mayor, this is a two-part. So one is, any person who's running should be aware, as far as I'm concerned, the amount of time that they need to put in, because I know, speaking with Clark, how much time he puts in, and I'm sure many of you do put in a good amount of time. And, you know, if you're running for something just for the status, let's face it, being, you know, the status in Newport shouldn't be that great. But the other question I had a couple of weeks ago was, who do you answer to? And you said to the people. So my great question is, where I see all these papers about how we're supposed to conduct ourselves appropriately and everything, my question is, whether it's intentional or an oversight, what happens if in the policies and procedures you violate something? Is there any kind of repercussion? And if you don't know, if you can hold off the answers till next meeting, I'd really like to know if there are consequences if you violate the policies and procedures, because as people, if we are governed by it, like if we speed, God forbid, we get a ticket. So if you guys do something wrong, is there some repercussion? And the contradiction to that is, hell, you guys are volunteers, so it shouldn't be a punitive thing, but I just believe that there's still a certain norm that should be followed.
Thank you. And the last one,
Will someone get back to me, do you think, on this? Like, because it's a question. And as I said, I don't need it right now, but I'd like to know.
anybody have a response?
Yeah, I'll get back.
Yeah.
I'll email you.
Okay, we'll give you a response back. And I won't say anything off the top of my head, because that would be wrong. Next one would be Beth Barnes, Pride Parade.
Thank you. On Sunday, Newport had a very noteworthy day. We had our first Pride Parade, first of hopefully very many. A few months ago, it was the dream of a few to host this parade, and I know it was a concern of many that thought of this parade. And I just want to say, Sunday was a fantastic day. It was billed as a family-friendly event, and it was just that. There were so many people lining the streets to watch the parade, and there were so many people in the parade, so many people and groups, and not just from Newport. They came from Hardwick, they came from Albany, they came from many places, and they came to Newport. So we should all be very, very proud of what we all achieved together as a city by hosting it. And I want to make a special mention that I was very thrilled to see Becca Ballant there leading the parade. Several months ago, when I was mayor, I reached out to her and invited her to come to Newport. She was thrilled at the invitation, and she was obviously thrilled to be here, and she was a big draw. So thanks to all of you who were there, all of you who believed in this first annual Pride Parade, and hopefully will support everyone for the next one next year and for many years to come. And Travis, thank you for the great job you did. It all went off to the public eye without a hitch. I don't know if anything went on behind the scenes, but I think we should all be very, very proud. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to number 8. And this is kind of different. I received a request for someone to want to speak, and I said, okay, you can speak, but with the knowledge that we're not going to be attacking the council, it's something constructive. So you said 5 minutes. You got roughly 5 minutes. I'm not going to.
Sure, I don't even think I need 5 minutes, and I certainly will be respectful. Thank you very much. My name's Jay Walsh. I'm a resident here of the city of Newport. I want to thank the council and the president for allowing me to ask these questions tonight. Seeing as there is no defined guidance in either the city charter, the state statute, or Newport City rules and procedures for aldermen to call or warn a meeting of the city council, it would be helpful to all to describe the process that you used to call these meetings. This was May 9th, May 20th, and May 22nd, special meetings called of the council. I have 4 quick questions, very short questions, that should help the public and the voters understand your process. I'll quickly read them. I'm going to give you a copy of them just so that you can follow to respond to those. So, regarding the calling of the special meetings of May 9th, May 20th, and 22nd, special meetings of the council, I'm looking to see who called the special meetings, an alderman, the city manager, which of the aldermen voted to warn the special meetings, and did you need a majority vote or a 2/3 vote of the aldermen to do so? Who prepared, reviewed, and warned the agendas? And did you request of the mayor or inform them of your desire to hold these special meetings? I can sit and allow your response.
Okay. Thank you. We will, I'm going to pass this on to our new interim, and hopefully we can get some answers back to you. I know it's funny. All right. The next line on the agenda is the 2023-24 line of credit. Mr. Johnson?
Yeah, annually, so annually you have to approve a line of credit for $1 million. And if we have to borrow on that, to keep going, we only pay interest on the amount we borrow. Last year we borrowed $300,000, and that was to get us through from, I think it was July 1st till the first tax payment came in. So you have to approve this for next year for $1 million, and again, we'll only pay interest on what we borrow. Oh, wait a minute. And the interest rate on that is 5.45%.
And that's still $1 million. All right. Do I need a motion to say yes, we're going to go ahead and borrow the interim money from the bank?
I'll make a motion to approve the line of credit for 2023-2024.
Okay. I have a motion to borrow a line of credit from the bank. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
And that, the second was from Clark Curtis. I have a motion and a second to sign the line of credit. All those in favor, say aye.
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 We have 3 ayes along with Chris Vachon. All those in favor say aye. We have. So opposed? No? So the motion is approved. We have to sign this also. Okay, moving on. We also have a legal services agreement for the Causeway/Gardner Park Streetscape project and USDA grant with an anticipated vote. Is Tom involved in this, or just the one we got from the, okay. This is thank you, I'll read parts of it, I guess. Thank you for working Sitzel, Page, and Fletcher to discuss our assistance to the city of Newport with its legal needs. They've worked with the city roughly the past 8 years and provided municipal legal services included but not limited to matters involving municipal government, personnel, labor negotiations, litigation, real estate, zoning, and land use permitting. And all this is needing our signatures. This is their agreement to work, continue with the grants for the Gardner, the Causeway improvements. And I would need a motion to approve this.
I'll make that motion, Mr.
Okay.
President.
We have a motion to accept and agree to the arrangement with Siskel, Page, and Fletcher. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a second from Mr. Vachon. Discussion? Yes.
Do you put out an RFP for legal services? Request for proposal?
I believe the city does, yes.
Do you know how often?
I would assume whenever we need it.
But you're saying now you've had them for 8 years and you don't need it?
We don't what?
I'm just curious if you put out an RFP for legal services.
I would expect something has gone out because it's gone through Siskel, Page, and Fletcher, and they already have their signed copy. Yes, ma'am. And they are our legal services.
I know that. I'm
So,
not sure you understand.
have we gone,
Do you send out
have
a
we gone out
request?
to other firms? No, but they're the ones that represent us, so that's who we use.
And you don't send out
No.
to other firms to
No,
propose?
as of now, no, we don't. Okay. So I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of?
I did have one more question. Why is it that we have legal services now for special projects and grants? I thought they covered us, that when we made the original agreement with that firm, that they covered us for all legal services.
They do, but in some of these cases, I'm only assuming that for the Causeway bit, there's so many people that we have to deal with to get their approvals, like the railroad, it's out of Canada. So we're not in the process of dealing with them, so we use our legal team to deal with all these other entities that have to be coordinated before you can do a project. Sound good? Okay. Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, we have 3 ayes. Any opposed? No? So we are going to accept and agree to the arrangement on behalf of the city of Newport.
Mr. President,
Yes.
would any of the council members be willing to give me his or her, his copy of the, of that, or maybe somebody can, oh, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Becky? You don't want to send that to me, signature. All right, moving on. We need to consider ratifying the police Benevolent Association, the contract with the union that we've been working on for probably 7-8 months. We just got the signed copy in, so we need to go into an executive session to inform the council what we're signing into here. So do I hear a motion? And that is,
Mr. President,
you've got, okay.
I move that the city council find that premature general public knowledge regarding the city's contract with NEK-TV would clearly place the city at a substantial disadvantage because the council risks disclosing its negotiation strategy if it discusses the proposed contract terms in public.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion to go into executive session and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. There are no votes. So we are going to go back into take that back. We have to have a second part to go into executive session by our legal team. You ready to-
I move that the council enter executive session to discuss the city's labor relations contract with NEPBA pursuant to Title I, Section 313A1B.
Okay, I have a motion, a second motion to go into executive session. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to go into the second executive session. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
All right, thank you. So the ayes have it. So we're now going back into executive session to discuss the hopefully final contract for the police department. Welcome back. Crowd gets smaller every time. We have one thing to say about the union contract.
I would like to make a motion to accept and ratify the NEPBA contract for the 2022 to 2026.
All right, I have a motion to accept the contract. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve the contract with the New England Police Benevolent Association. All those in favor say aye.
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 I have 3 ayes. Anyone opposed? The ayes have it. So we will go ahead and we've approved the contract. And this one started in 2022. So we went dang close to a year without a contract. And we negotiated for about 8 months. So it won't be effective till we get 2 more signatures on this, and then it goes into effect. And the chief will get his 2 officers who are part of the bargaining team to sign it, and then it's an approved contract. So, I'll give that to Becky.
Mr. President,
Yes,
how may I get a copy of that so I can read?
well, maybe see the city manager at the interim after we get the last 2 signatures, because right now we're still missing 2 signatures.
But isn't it public record if you have it on the table?
It may. By tomorrow morning, we'll find the other 2 police officers, unless you'd like us, no, I won't say it, bring them in and give them triple time. It'll be signed and finished, ratified tomorrow for sure, for the last 2 signatures. And I wouldn't doubt that if you call the city office, and they'll take care of you.
Very fun, thank you.
You're welcome. Next item is new business. Mr. Johnson?
Yeah, I do. I've got 2 liquor licenses, applications need approval. One is for the Portside Snack Bar, which is out here, I believe. And that's from the boat, Magog Maritime. And one for Eden Ice Cider for a first-class license at the place on Main Street.
Okay. We need a motion for each one, or can we just have a motion to sign them both?
I'll write the names, I can do both of
I
them.
have a motion to sign the liquor licenses.
Approve them.
I make a motion to approve the 2 liquor licenses.
All right, I have a motion to approve the 2 liquor licenses. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to sign the liquor licenses. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Motion carried.
I've also got an application for a vendor's permit from California Enterprises. They're based on Applewood Drive out here, and it's to sell freeze-dried candies, tumblers, and embroidery. And they want to be in various positions in the city and across from Cumberland Farms. They paid the fee, they've got the insurance, figures they got all they need.
Do I hear a motion to approve the permit?
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion to approve the permit. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion and a second to approve the permit request. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries.
That's it for me.
Mr. Charbonneau, new business?
No new business.
Mr. Curtis, new business? Mr. Aaron, no? I just have one thing I would like to bring up. Cause it's basically their ongoing stuff. The reservoir, the liner and the cover is moving forward. I got a nice update from Mr. Bernier. And to allay some comments in the great computer world, we are not, when you see the water that's been coming out to relieve the pressures, we're not throwing Derby's sewage out. And you can laugh, it's out there and it's totally amazing, that whole world. I'm glad I'm in the old century because, come on, we'd all go to prison if we were throwing sewage out there. But then other people will comment on it. Yeah, well, we need to tighten this up and so that's going forward and we're not putting dirty sewage out there coming out the pipes. And the second one is, we've run into a couple snags, but the water project for the sewer line on Spruce is ongoing. If you try to drive at the end of the bluff, you might have to take a big detour, but that's, that issue is being taken care of. It was going to be a 1-week project, it might go into 3, but we're moving forward with that issue. So that's all I had for new business. Old business, Mr. Johnson?
No,
Oh, excuse me, Mr. Vashon, did you have any new business?
No new business. Thank you.
Okay, I didn't mean to forget you. Okay, old business, Mr. Charbonneau.
No business.
Mr. Vashon?
No, thank you.
I have no old business. Mr. Curtis?
No, sir.
Mr. Arian? Okay, there is no old business. So we will set the next regular scheduled council meeting will be 10 July at 6:30.
And there's actually a public meeting that night in the capital plan.
That's
at
right.
6.
So that would be 6 o'clock for the second reading of the 5-year plan. Then we'll move on to the council meeting. And I should never assume, because in the military you never
I have
assume.
one
It
clarifying
probably, yes.
Do we know the location for the next meeting?
That's what I'm pondering right now. Is it going to be down here, the next meeting? I would like to say that as I was driving up to Cosmo, it was good to see it on the electronic board, so I know when our council meeting was going to be. But I think I've rectified that problem. So I'm going to just say right now, TBD, to be determined. We'll have to see how the logistics here work, and is this available? If not, and this is, in a way, it's better because we got some room. The little conference room up there is pretty tight. And if someone comes in with a weapon and wants to shoot us all the while, we got, go right through one of those screens probably. All right, so now I need a motion to adjourn
I'll make that motion.
at 8:54 p.m. I have a motion to adjourn.